Oh, hello. This is going to be a video of some of the incidents that happened this week. And starting with the first one, actually, I should probably make this. No, I'll start with this one at the beginning. It was a day ago that I decided to finally send down the computer because the internet wasn't working for some time, and now it's working. And while I was heading down to the shop to bring the computer, I saw this guy just with a t-shirt, like trying to hit the sign with the store. And then I looked at him and I was like, fuck, kids friendly. I was like, frack, this isn't good. So that's what I thought in my head. I said, hey, move. And the dude just like looked surprised. And then he was wearing a black shirt, had curly hair, had a mask on. So I kind of felt like this guy probably isn't unhoused. And so he walks across the street. I stare him down while I'm taking the computer and rolling it over to the shop. And I'm like looking at him. And I'm like trying to make sure he doesn't like come in, but he's across the street. So then I eventually roll the cart inside, and I close, and I watch him walk up and down, pick up a box, goes into the trash can, picks up the trash can, and he's like still staring at me, and I'm like thinking like, oh, is this person going to like do something extra? And then I lock myself inside, and I stay there for like 5 minutes, and then he just ends up leaving. Yeah, that was one thing that happened. Another thing, it was during the eclipse. I was trying to shoot some film, but with my camera, and it was like 1:30. So I ran up the thing, and I ran up the building that I'm at, and I could see all the other apartments. Some of the people, I was surprised that I couldn't see the other people at the end of their porch, like viewing what's happening. It was supposed to be like this magnificent event, the blood moon. But I took my camera and I zoomed in, and I took pictures. The pictures were fire. They're pretty. I'm gonna figure out a way to post them in some fashion. They're really nice. And I was there, and I just was like, it was a weird feeling, like zooming in and seeing the moon, and it around a big ball, and there was like a big ball of light, because it was like extra bright, and you can see the silver and red around it, but it wasn't fully red when I went out. And that was a pretty cool instance that happened. And another one was, I decided to go back to Nickel Street. And I don't know what went through my mind, but I went deep into like Nickel Street, like where like civilization ends, and I almost shouldn't say civilization. Like there's no people who aren't sick at some capacity through like either illness or, fortunately, with like habit. I remember walking in there, and I think like going further and further deep into the Skid Row area, and all I could hear was just groans and and like my eyes, like I guess I was so stressed out, like not even thinking about it, that my eyes felt like they were separating like this, like my peripherals were increasing, like my body knew that it had to be in a more secure state, like so I could be able to see what's happening around me, because I could no longer see lights. I could only see like tents. And I was trying to cross the street, and I started to walk around like it started to move around like a dragonfly. Like instead of forward, it started moving around like this, that, up and down, crossing the streets. And I turned around like I'm really far into this place, and if I go any deeper, I don't know what's going to happen. And so I decided to head back, and while I was heading back, I just saw this dude just start puking over the street. Like, I know we almost crossed, I crossed this, like, he was like 5 feet to the right of me. And then after I saw the puke and stuff like that, there was just something like, ugh, about like, this is this isn't good where I'm at right now. So I just like booked out of there and got back to Broadway. So there was that. And another thing that's been crossing my mind was trying to find solutions. Like, like when I usually take routes, I kind of meet the same people over again, and they recognize me. Probably I shouldn't be leaving the house so long. So I was trying to like think of a solution of how to like not be bartered for any change that they might hear in my pocket. So I came up with this idea which I can make something. And the thing that came up to mind was like the simplest thing, like I'm gonna make brownies, and a pack of mix is about $2. I can take all that brownie mix, and instead of giving them the loose change, it comes out to uh, like like 10 cents or 5 cents a brownie. And I can do a spiel like anytime they ask me for like, hey, but do you have this? And it wouldn't be insulting to them. First of all, I'm learning how to bake. I'm around uh, I'm around things like sweets, but I'm not going to eat it. And I can like give it to other people, not feel bad, and actually learn how to cook. Plus, I can also service them by not enabling them by giving them cash, which they would probably use for nefarious reasons or not. But I think a lot of them get like checks, so I think they have a level of stability, but they just want that little extra. So a little extra I'll give them is whatever I bake. So I win by learning how to bake. They win by getting something. And for an opt reasons, like if you just pass by something and someone kind of have already learned their repertoire of how to beg for something, will give you this kind of like this heaviness, like, oh, if you don't give it to them, it's bad. And if people see you and you're not nice to them, like, oh, that dude's just like one of those other people who don't care. And I'm like, I can care by giving them something. Those people probably don't know me, or probably I should never, and I'll give them the treat. And over time, they know, like it's like 3 people, and I can bake like, with like $4, I can bake like 50 of these items. And after like, I think after my 5th try, they're gonna know what they're going to get. Friend me instead of asking for cash. Like, they're like, hey, can I have some money, blah, blah. But I'm be like, oh, hey, I really tried hard, and it's cool seeing you here again. Would you like to try X, Y, and Z item that I created, that I took my time to create? And then eventually they're gonna get tired. Like, instead of seeing me and knowing someone who has the wrangling in their pocket, they're gonna know me with the guy with the brownie. And then I know that's typically not what they want. So eventually when they see me, they're just gonna not even consider begging me, because they know that I'm about. Because they know what I'm about already, because they know the places I go to, and they kind of like just, they post themselves up for many people, but they post themselves up in places where they know that there's traffic. And I just thought that that's a good routine, and I can like sell it also. I can also improve my salesman skills, which I need to improve in the first place. So it helps me how to bake. The moral dilemma, it erases that, because I'm giving them something that I created. It's very cheap on my part, and it helps with my salesman skills. And it removes any like form of guilt of being able to like, if I don't provide for society. So it's a win-win in all positions. So I just thought that's a good uh, uh, technique to use. Or probably they're gonna end up find some way to either around my schema that I'm gonna create in order to defend myself from not being begged over and over again anytime I walk out. Okay, that's all. I just wanted to get those thoughts out of my mind. I was always thinking of creating things like, oh, it has to be at this certain level of professionalism. But I realized when I think of the professionalism, I can't improve in my flow of like how to communicate. And I'm not like, and I see my friends how they communicate, and they don't give a care about how they're like the production of it, and they just communicate. And how they like frame their face, their majesty of like their okay, yeah. And I have my thing going. So I think this is a better exercise and format to do for some period of time until I get my other operations running. Okay, thank you for listening to me, and I hope to hear from you soon. And subscribe. Yes, that should be another thing I put in my repertoire. Uh, so subscribe and put on the notification bell. Okay, thank you for checking in, and have a nice day. Out.